Welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. It is a Barcelona news roundup today, and we are going to be discussing the big topic, that is our search for a centre-forward. Given Suarez's current form, and obviously given the stage of his career that he is currently in, it's long been the thought that we're going to be targeting a new centre-forward this summer, and of course, the papers in Barcelona have been going crazy over the past few days with names, suggestions. We are going to be going through all that, and some more. It's coming right up. Let's do this. But I just want to start first of all with a very quick update on Jasper Cillessen. As we know, a few weeks ago he was tragically, and I really do mean tragically, ruled out for 6 weeks simply because he was really looking forward to playing against Real Madrid in those two Copa del Rey games. The Cup has always been his competition. He's been limited to that and he was so excited to play in those games, but he got ruled out for 6 weeks with a thigh injury. However, this morning in the Barcelona papers, they've basically been saying that the club doctors and the physiotherapists, they've been working round the clock on Jasper Cillessen, doing everything possible to try and get him ready, not for the Copa del Rey game against Real Madrid, but for the League Clásico at the Bernabeu, of which if Cillessen was fit, he may have a chance to play in, simply because he's really missed out on those two cup encounters. So Cillessen working hard to return. Whether he'll be able to, we don't know yet, but I'm really hoping that at least he has a chance, because he really deserves it. But now on to the big transfer news. Now I'm going to come on to our search for a striker very shortly, but first I'm going to bring you some news on Ivan Rakitic, because some very interesting reports coming out of Italy over the past few days with regard to Rakitic and a potential move to Inter Milan. According to Gazzetta dello Sport, which is the daily sports newspaper in Italy, they often come out with a lot about the Italian clubs, and in particular the big Italian sides like Inter, and they basically say that Inter have already spoken to Barcelona about the potential signing of Ivan Rakitic, which would take place in the summer transfer window. Gazzetta dello Sport basically say the fee for Rakitic would be around 35 to 40 million euros, and apparently Inter have even gone as far as preparing a wage package for Ivan Rakitic. They've already spoken to the player directly. He would be offered a 3-year contract with an improved salary, which really could tempt Rakitic to swap Barça for Inter this summer, which would be very interesting indeed. However, Sport on this one say that Valverde, not a real surprise here I have to say, Valverde is very keen on Rakitic staying at the club. He doesn't want to sell him. He wants to try and persuade him to stay, and also Sport say the dressing room and the key players are also behind Rakitic staying, but as of yet his future is in the balance. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But now on to our big striker search, and it really is a big target this summer, because obviously Suarez, he may not be in great form now, but he is going to be one hell of a player to replace, simply because he gives you absolutely everything. At his peak there was nobody better, and he really has lit up Barcelona for many years, so replacing him is not going to be easy. MD this morning have come out with a big headline and a number of options. They basically say close to the 9, as in Barcelona are closing in on potentially their forward signing. Maxi Gomez at Celtic continues to be linked with Barça. Also Sevilla's Andre Silva is also mentioned, along with Luka Jovic, who we know that Barcelona have a firm interest in, and also Lille's promising young forward Rafael Leao. However, Maxi Gomez appears to be the leading target right now, according to MD. You can see him there on the headline, and they basically say that the Uruguayan centre-forward, 22 years old, he has good experience in La Liga. That's a very good thing for Barcelona. He has 9 goals and 5 assists this season in a struggling Celta Vigo side, to go with his 17 goals that he scored for Celta last season. MD say though he wouldn't come cheap. Celta are not willing to budge whatsoever on his release clause, which stands at 50 million euros, and talks are ongoing whether Maxi is the right man to come in and play as our centre forward. But I also want to talk specifically here about Nicolas Pepper, who's mentioned also there as one of the targets from Mundo Deportivo, and he's been linked with Barcelona not only in MD but also in Sport over the past few days, because according to Sport, Barcelona have been closely monitoring the progress of Pepe right throughout this season so far. They've sent scouts out to watch him in Liga on several occasions, and I have to say he has been incredibly impressive right throughout the season so far. The 23-year-old Ivorian has really been doing good, playing some good football, helping Lille to second in the league so far, and he's actually the 3rd highest scorer in Liga with an outstanding 16 goals and 10 assists, so getting involved in both the goal scoring and the goal assisting, and he has played a majority of his football this season out on the right hand side, not really central, not as a centre forward, but more of a right winger. But it has to be said, he can also operate down the middle as an out and out centre forward, as a number 9 type. Now the report from Sport actually goes on to say that Barcelona have an agreement with Lille right now of basically the French club to inform Barça of whenever there's movement on the front of Nicolas Pepper. So by means of that, whenever there's a bid for him, they will let Barça know to see if we want to react. And right now, Bayern are very interested in Pepe. He's had a great season. A lot of clubs, even Premier League clubs, very, very interested in him. But if anything happens, Barça are going to be informed, and it'll be very, very interesting to see whether we react to that information and get involved in the bidding war ourselves. A word on Luis Suárez though. Of course, a lot of scrutiny over the past few days, and Sport have come out this morning with an article that basically says Suarez is still confident. He still believes that he can turn this form around. He only believes that it is form. He doesn't believe that it's a drastic decline. He believes that he can work and play his way out of this. He's still confident in himself, and he actually goes on to say in this article that he's basically in good physical condition. He feels good right now in his body, but obviously on the football pitch, his legs, his mind, they're not quite on the same wavelength at the moment, and clearly he is going through bad form. But I really do hope, for the sake of our season, for the sake of our Champions League, like we said yesterday, a little bit of time out of the team, a bit of time to recuperate, to get his head back in the game. Maybe he can come back in then, and we can see Suarez a lot more of a threat. We are going to need him, there's no doubt about that. Obviously the league is going well, but the Champions League, the big Champions League nights, we need Suarez to be better, and ultimately to be more like his true self. And now, aside from our striker search, I really want to talk about Gerard Piqu. Now, the reasoning for that is simply because as the season started, the first half of the season, obviously defensively we were very suspect, we were leaking goals, and I have to say, it wasn't all the defence's fault. Yes, the defence made a few mistakes, quite a lot of errors across all of the games, but also the midfield and the strikers, they have a responsibility as well to help with your defending, and it wasn't good right throughout the team. But I want to talk about Piqu simply because in the last few games, in the last few weeks or so, we've had a difficult time. Barcelona haven't been playing well, but one man that has been is Gerard Piqu. He's really upped his game. A lot of people were starting to say about him that he was in decline, that he was starting to be finished as a player. Well, here, he's bounced back, some really encouraging performances, some commanding displays, leading the team as he really needs to. And I have to say, against Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey, he was brilliant. We kept a clean sheet then against Athletic. Even in the game against Villarreal, we weren't good overall. He was one of the better performers, and also against Lyon, absolutely brilliant at the centre of defence. So perhaps at the start of the season, maybe alongside Clement Longley, a new partner for him, maybe it took a bit of time for him to adapt, to really link up a partnership with Longley, but now he's done that, and obviously with Untitled to come in as well, we are looking in good shape with Gerard Piqu at the heart of our defence. And also, guys, just for a minute, I want to talk to you about this particular lineup here. And in particular, I want to talk about Nelson Sometta, who's another player. Just like Piqu, in the past few games, he's been absolutely outstanding. Against Lyon, he was absolutely brilliant. In his defensive play, he really was outstanding. But a lot of people will reply to that and they'll say, look, going forward, Nelson Sometta is not brilliant in the final third. He doesn't really create enough. Is he the right player for a Barcelona fullback? But what I would respond to that actually here is, it's not all about going forward. Yes, as a Barcelona fullback, you want to be able to get forward, but also just have a look at this team here, simply because yesterday I spoke so much about balance. Look at this team here. Obviously, this was maybe during a spell that Suarez was out of the team. Messi here in false nine, potentially here Coutinho from the left-hand side, and what you have here is the perfect balance for me, simply because Coutinho, you know that he'll like to go inside. Coutinho here can cut in, then allowing Alba to really parade down that left-hand side and be advanced, as you know that he can. I think Dembele is certainly better on the right than the left, simply because he has a lot more licence here to roam and he won't be forced inside by Jordi Alba. What you would have then is Nelson Sometta. Yes, he can combine with Dembele, he will make overlapping runs, but he'll be a more conservative fullback, and necessarily that's not such a bad thing. You think back to the Pep era, we had on the one side Dani Alves flying forward, linking up with Messi here, and on the left you had a rather more conserved Eric Abidal. He could go forward, but he was also the more defensive fullback, because to be honest, you can't always have Alba and Sometta always pushing forward. It doesn't really work that way. So what you have to do sometimes is be a bit more conservative. You can have one who stays back while one goes. Alba loves to get forward, so we can let him do that, and Sometta here is okay staying back. What you need though with that, if you're going to have a more conservative fullback, is a right winger here who's going to stay wide, hold his width and create some runs here. With Messi over here, that doesn't really work, simply because Messi will come inside, then there's nobody really occupying this wing. If you play Dembele there as well, it's okay for Sometta to be more conservative, concentrate on defending, which he's very, very good at, because Dembele will do it all on his own on this right-hand side. And I think this formation here and this team, it has good balance, a lot of good attacking threat, but also we're not going to be exposed defensively. We're sure about that. that. And so that was just something that I wanted to bring you as something really that I want to talk about just for a few videos now, but it's just finding the time really to put that in there when we're not talking about something else. So let me know what you think of that team, let me know what you think of the video overall, who should we be targeting in terms of our forward search. Let me know your comments down below, guys. You always leave such fantastic comments. Thank you, as always, for your support, and I will see you, of course, very soon with more videos. But until then, as always, Vasca el Barça.